first class?
Yes.
First class?
Yes.
So you want to join me?
Yes, ma'am.
We completed actually what we have always completed. Yes, classes. It's good. Completed their work of pages with the fun they had. We are supposed to do the law system. Since only you are here, which one you want to do?
The Monday,
The fun there you want to do.
no, I still nothing because that time. Sure.
Have you done?
Yes.
No, 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 today, I'm just asking you. You have, no? So the opinion is like this. This is also good here to see. It goes like this. It's a poem by Robert Frost. And about the poet, when you read about when you read any story or a poem, it's recommended to know a little bit about the poet of the author for a greater understanding. In what situation, what kind of poem the author writes for a better understanding of the poem. So here, first about the poem, let's read Robert Frost. So we completed Robert Frost, right? That was not taken. We completed Robert, we were not taken, right? So we were not taken news completed. So because she was there, I was reading it again and we wanted to the lost child, like the last thing that last let's do lost child and this is the literally devices of the road not taken. Road not taken the literary devices. Literary devices. If you get it into things. It's called poetic devices. Assonance is there, personification, imagery, metaphor. We have more. Akash. Akash, yeah, Akash. 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 Last time Akash told me to teach poetic devices of water. Do you remember? Yes. So I tried to find out where. So I have it here. Apart from your volume, in volume you have few poetic devices, utility devices or poetic devices. By Robert Frost. These are poetic devices. The product right by JD. First, we have paper. I give you whatever I'm writing and you get it, make it educate. And then also we have the bottom. So first, metaphor. This poem is a metaphor. Mostly it's a metaphor. It's a metaphor, many metaphors in the poem like road. The road is the metaphor for choices we make in life. And the word in the road and yellow words. The road in the poem is a metaphor for life. Not exactly choices we make in our life. You say choices we make in our life. But the word of the road metaphorically represents the choices we make to determine the course of our life. So the force. So this is the poet. The poet is standing here. Poet. So this word is metaphorically tells us about the choices we make in our life. So determines the course or else choices and determines the course of our life. What it leads to. Yellow goods were the metaphor of making decisions during the hard times of a person. Metaphor. Yellow goods. Yellow goods. Yellow goods is also a metaphor. Making decisions during the hard times of a person's life. Yellow gold is something that is not fresh, not green. During the autumn, the leaves shed their leaves and the wood turns yellow. So that is the yellow wood. Yellow wood is something that is many people uh, went to the road. That is the yellow wood. Wanted wear. That was not wanted wear. Many people went to the road and the road looks yellow.
Do you have the poem? Haan. Two roads diverged in a yellow boat, and sorry I could not travel both, but only one traveler. Long I stood, and two roads diverged in a yellow boat. The boat is yellow. Yes. The boat is yellow, representing a time that is yellow here means hard time of a life. During a hard time of your life, you're standing there and in a yellow mood, yellow means you are passing through a hard time and then it's better for hard time and then you have to take the right decision. Decision that should be right according to you because you have no way to come back. We have a way to come back. If you are taking this road to give your board exam, CBSE exam, and then after giving the exam, you do not score well. And is it possible for you to come back and take this road and give ICBSE exam? No, not possible. So the choice you make in life, the wood is yellow, it is hard time, then you have to make the right decision. The yellow board is a metaphor of making decision during the hard times of the person's life. Yellow means something that is rotten. When you see, not rotten, hard time means yellow means autumn time. Autumn time when life's expectation you cannot find any meaning for your life. Then you have to take a hard decision. That time is called as yellow board. These metaphors used in this poem emphasize the importance of the different decisions we make in different situations and their impacts on our lives. So the road not taken is a metaphor. The poem is a metaphor, here road is a metaphor for the choices we make in life. Okay? So metaphor is very important and then we have imagery. Do you have end of tree and the fruit? That's it there. So imagery, when we talk about imagery, think of imagery, it's an image that comes in your mind. Here imagery is used to make the readers feel things through their five senses. The poet has used images of the sense of sight such as leaves and yellow woods. These are again, yellow wood is imagery as well as is metaphor as well as imagery. As well as imagery. Yellow wood, when you think about yellow wood, what comes in your mind? Imagery में क्या है? You close your eyes, think about that thing, something comes in your mind. You think about a cloth, as an imagery, what comes in your mind? A black bird. So yellow wood, when you close your eyes and you think of yellow wood, you feel wood that has had turned yellow. When trees turn yellow, it's not water properly. So something that is what to say. Give me a word, yellow wood. Where that is where. So that is the leaves and the yellow woods they are imagery. These images help readers actually to perceive things they are in. Image of the road helps readers to visualize the road, providing a navigation to the traveler. The road not taking the road word is also imagery. So here we have three imageries. The road, which tells us about navigates us to two roads divided on a road. And then what is yellow wood we have that gives us an image of a wood that is of an autumn season, you can say, of an autumn season. And then we have road, we have yellow woods, and we have the leaves. Leaves kind of, let's see. Grass. When we talk about grass, what is because it was grassy and wanted grassy. When we talk about close your eyes, we think of being something that is also nature. So metaphor हो गया, imagery हो गया, now simile. What is a simile? Simile is comparison. using like or as. Like or as good as a as good as a anything is as good as a mango. So that is an individual. ये नहीं होता है. CBSE is a device used to compare things with familiar things, create the radius know it easily, understand easily. There is one simile used in the second stanza as fair as just as fair. Second stanza is as just as fair. Remember? This is as just as a as fair. Just as fair. So when we use just as fair, when two words are connected with as or like, and it is a comparison, we call it a simile. Without as or like is a alliteration. Okay? And when we use pronoun alliteration, without as or like is what? Metaphor. And when we use as or like, it becomes a simile. As just as fair, where there is one simile used in the line, second stanza as just as fair. It shows how the poet has made the road less taken to the city line. The road less taken, he took the road less taken because it was not traveled by many people and he thought it was an easy road for him. It becomes an easy choice. Easily can be achieved without working hard. The poet thought, though he knew he cannot come back, still he chose the road that was less traveled by people because he thought that was an easy way to achieve success. That's a simile, as fair as. Assonance, what is assonance? Repetition of vowel sounds. Assonance, alliteration is repetition of consonant sounds, and assonance is repetition of vowel sounds.
So alliteration is one and
Wanted where is alliteration? Yes. But assonance is repetition of vowel words. But when assonance comes in your exam, if you are asked to write, there is repetition, and if you write instead of assonance, if you write alliteration, still it will be given as right answer. Okay. But try to write the right answer. Assonance is a repetition of vowel sounds. Sounds. By sounds, we say it's not word. Honor. Honor is starts with H. Do we pronounce H? We say honor. It is O. And honor to so it is vowel sound. Such as the sound of A and O in quick succession as though as far as that passing. Though as far as that the passing. And in somewhere ages and ages ends. So as far that the passing. Got it? So as for that the passing there. So as far that the passing there. Assonance. Though as far. Find out the assonance sound here. Sound of A and O it means quick succession. Though as far that the passing. Is there any assonance here? I don't find. Somewhere ages and ages, hence there is assonance. Right? Ages and ages. A and A. But the first one is wrong. There is no assonance. Though as far that the passing, there is no assonance here. We have assonance here in somewhere ages and ages hence, where A and A are two vowels. They are written side by side and they are vowels. Consonants we don't have to. Personification. Robert Frost personified the road in the third line of the second stanza. Here it is stated because it was grassy and wanted, where as if the road is human and that it wants to wear and tear. Here personification, grassy and wanted wear. When we say wanted wear, we are wearing a cloth, dress that tears. So here human human attribution is given to the road, a road that is not torn, a road that doesn't have a cloth or dress that is torn. Humans wear clothes, right? So human attribution is given to the road. Wanted wear means a road that does not have uh, a clothing that is torn. Understood or not? Look at the boy. He's wearing a torn jeans. A torn, matlab फटा हुआ. So he is taking the road that was wanted wear means less fata hua, less used. So that is the attribution that we give to humans. So that's a personification. And then rest you can take from the So we have metaphor, we have simile, we have assonance, and we have imagery. Imagery, क्या है? Yellow wood is an imagery. It talks about the autumn season. It talks about the hard time of a man. And then, क्या है? Road is an imagery. When we close our eyes, glass, we think about the moon. So it talks about the imagery. And then there is simile. There is metaphor, mostly a metaphor. We come in answer because the poem is a metaphor of the choices we take. Akash, no, Aditya. Aditya, if you want, you can take it. So let's do the last chapter. This festival of spring, from the wintry shades of narrow lanes, spring comes after winter. If winter comes, then spring will be partner. So during spring, still the old breeze is there. So you feel a little bit of cold. You will not switch off AC or fan. Sometimes you feel cold when it's spring season. So it was the festival of spring. From the wintry shades of narrow lanes and alleys emerged a gaily clad humanity. Somewhat people, gaily clad humanity, people happily because it's no longer winter, it's spring and people are out, it's festive season, so we watched a gaily clad humanity. People who are nicely clad when it's Diwali, we wear our best clothes. So nicely clad humanity people. Some walked, some rode on horses, others sat, being carried in bamboo and bullock. So some being carried in bamboo and bullock. It shows that it's a village city. Some walked, some rode on horses, others sat, being carried in bamboo and bullock. Bullock all of them sit, it's made of bamboo. The place where people sit, it's made of bamboo. One little boy ran between his father's legs, breathing over with life and laughter because he is happy that he is going to a fair. It's the time is springtime, and he is very happy that he is going to a fair. When someone goes to a fair, little child goes to a fair, what is the expectation? He will buy many things from a fair, so he's very come, child, come, called his parents as he lagged behind, fascinated by the toys in the shops that lined the way. So in a fair, there are many different types of shops, and he was lagging behind. He was not giving pace with his parents because he wanted to see all the shops. Childhood is filled with urge to know more, to learn more. So it's a time when we are innocent, the children are innocent. So they know that that is like a scientific way. They want to know everything, see everything. So he was lagging behind parents were going forward. He was lagging behind because he wanted to see all the gun shops, and of course he wanted to buy, and he was seeing all the gun shops. He hurried towards his parents, his feet obedient to their call. So he shows that he's a very obedient one. Immediately he started following his parents. His eyes still lingering on the receding toys. Receding toys means the toy shop is here. Parents said comes and comes. So immediately he started following his parents. So when he's going forward, the shops are receding, going far. So if I go forward, my parent is receding, it's going. So his eyes are still towards the toy shops which are moving away. He's moving away from the toy shops. The receding toy shops means the shops that are going far away from him because he's going away, going to his friends. Why his eyes are he's a very obedient boy. He knows that if he asks for toys, his parents will not be able to give him the toys because they are not well off. So he's a very obedient child. He did not ask for any toys. He was just watching the toys. That shows that the obedience of the child. As he came to where they had stopped to wait for him, he could not suppress the desire of his heart, even though he well knew the old would stare of refusal with their eyes. He knew that if he asks for something, they will give a cold look to them. He knows that. Still, he could not control his desire to ask for something. I want that God, he pleaded. Though he knew that his parents will say no. His father looked at him, red-eyed, in his familiar tyrant's way. Red-eyed, matlab, you know that I don't have money, angry. Still you are asking. In the familiar tyrant's way, he feels as if father is a tyrant. Tyrant means is like Hitler, abuser. He will not give him anything. That means the boy feels. His father, melted by the free spirit of the day, was tender, and giving him her finger to hold, said, "Look, child, what is before you?" Mother was, as usual, very happy because he got a chance to see the fair, and his mind was very soft. He hold the child's hand, and he said, because she also knew that father will not be able to buy any toy. So to change his mind to वो ध्यान भटकाना होता है ना divert his attention. She hold his hand and say, come, let's see something else. See what is there, what is lying there. Tender means soft, tender coconut is same. It was a flowery mustard field, pale like melting gold, as it swept across miles and miles of even land. It was a flowery mustard field. Have you ever seen a mustard field? Mustard field is filled with yellow color. If you go to the north, you will see mustard field miles after miles. Mustard field is a mustard oil field from where mustard oil is extracted, and the colors are yellow. And when all the flower blooms, the fields look is so colorful, it's yellow. So the mother is showing the yellow mustard field to the child. Flowery mustard field, that's what flowery mustard field, the flowers looks are yellow in color. Pale like melting gold, it looks like melting gold. Gold is melting as it swept across miles and miles of even land. I say even land and filled with yellow color, golden looks like as if melting gold is in the melted gold is in the pits. A group of dragonflies, have you seen dragonflies? We've seen a little dragonflies. A group of dragonflies were bursting about on their gaudy purple wings, very beautiful purple wings, intercepting the flight of a lone black bee or butterfly in search of sweetness from the flowers. Intercepting the flight of a lone black bee, the dragonfly was coming in between the bees search for sweetness from the flowers. What is the sweetness that is up from the flower? Nectar. So this is all nature, natural thing. The dragonfly, the bee, that the mother, the master bee, feel that the mother wanted to divert the boy's attention from the toys. That's why she is showing all these things to the boy. And the boy was also a nature lover. The child followed them in the air with his, you see, this small child, so he forgot about the birds. He started following the dragonfly and the bee. The child followed them in the air with his gaze, till one of them would still its wings and rest, and he would try to catch it with his gaze. He was not running behind him. He was following it with his gaze, with his looks, with his eyes, until one sat down and he ran to catch them. In the air with his gaze, till one of them would still its wings and rest, and he would try to catch it. So he was following with his eyes, gazing the butterfly, not butterfly, the dragonfly, with his eyes in the air, so that sometime the dragonfly will sit and he will sit to rest, take rest, and he will go and catch the dragonfly. But it would go fluttering, flapping up into the air when he had almost caught it in his hands. Then his mother gave a cautionary call, come child, come onto the footpath. So he wanted to catch the dragonfly when it was sitting, but he could not. The dragonfly started flapping his wings. So mother said, come, child, let's go to the footpath. He ran towards his parents gaily and walked abreast. See, the child is so happy. He could not catch the dragonfly, he did not get the toys, but still he is happy. This is what is called childhood, always happy. He ran towards his parents, and whenever the parents are calling him, he was obediently listening to them, isn't it? He was so obedient, he was listening to them. He ran towards his parents gaily, happily, and walked abreast of them for a while. Walked abreast ahead of them for a while. Being, however, soon left behind, attracted by the little insects and worms along the footpath that were teeming out from their hiding places to enjoy the sunshine. He ran towards his mother and started walking ahead of them, but still, for them, he again was behind his parents because he was busy watching worms and the insects that were coming out from their hideouts to get sunshine. Because it was sunlit day, so they were coming out of their holes. So he started seeing them. So when he wanted to see them, his parents, he was walking ahead of them. So while he was busy seeing the parents, went past him and he was left behind. Come, child, come. His parents called from the shade of a room where they had seated themselves on the edge of a well. They ran towards him. Again, the parents said they were sitting. Broom is a shady tree. From the shade of a broom where they had seated themselves on the edge of a well. Edge of a well, people sit there. They were sitting there, resting there. He ran towards them. A shower of young flowers fell upon the child as he entered the group, because it was a big tree, and shower of leaves fell on him. Young flowers fell on him. Child as he entered the group, and forgetting his parents, he began to gather the raining petals in his hands. So when you see flowers are falling, he was doing like this to gather the petals in his hands. So this shows he was a nature lover. He loved nature because he was watching the. So what is the sign that says the child was a nature lover? You have to mention this. He was always lagging behind his parents because he was busy watching the dragonflies, the bee, the master, what? Tree, and then the worms and the insects coming out from the hiding, and collecting flowers falling from the roof. He began to gather the raining petals in his hands, but lo, he heard the cooing of doves and ran towards his friend shouting, dove, the dove. The raining petals dropped from his forgotten hand. So while collecting, he heard the cooing of the dove. Cooing is the call of the dove. How the dove calls? The dove is the huh? The you know what is it? Pigeon. Cooing of the sound of the pigeon.
No, like it's a white bird.
Yeah, it's a white bird. Let's see. Let's see the color. Let's see the cooing of the cooing means the sing of the dove. No. I knew that this might come. मुझे लग रहा था यही आएगा. Dove versus birds are different species, and doves belong to the same family of birds. They are mostly pigeons. So how do they call? This queen. How do they call? This is their queen sound. There is no pigeon in your balcony.
Yes, friends.
So next time when you see a pigeon, you just try to hear. This is the way they. So immediately when the child saw the dove and their queen, did not see the dove, heard the queen of the sound of the dove, immediately rushed to his parents, saying that look, there is a dove, there is a dove, there is a dove. Second shows that how nature nurtured the violence. The raining petal dropped from his forgotten hand. A child is a child. So one thing attracts him, the second moment he gets another thing that is attracting, he forgets about the previous year. So it now lives in the present. So the flowers, petals fell from his hand because now he is attracted towards the dove. The raining petals dropped from his forgotten hands. Forgotten hands. What is forgotten? Hands that are forgotten are the mind that forgot. Mind that forgot that there are petals in the hand. Hands do not forget. So this is forgotten hands can be seen Any poetic device the poet child. Come, child, come. They called to the child, who had now gone running in wild capers round the banyan tree, and gathering him up, they took the narrow winding footpath which led to the fair through the mustard field. Because they did not reach the fair, it's of the way. So come, child, come. They called to the child, who had now gone running in wild capers round the banyan tree. What is the meaning of wild capers? Wild capers. Yeah. Refers to the flowered birds is fine. Birds are the also known as a capered bush or fitness roots which is naturally inside plants. So wild caper refers to a plant like this, capered bush. So which grows naturally in certain region, mostly commonly in Mediterranean. Mediterranean cuisine it's used. What are capers called in India? You know what is kabra? You are from which region? You- Bengal, what's your full name? Aditya Sinha. So Bengal में क्या कहते हैं इसको? Let's see. Bengal तो है ही नहीं इधर. Bengal सारा बहुत है. So we don't have Bengal. What do they call in Bihar? काबरा ही हिंदी. बिहार का हिंदी है ना? Kabra. Kabra. So this type of dal. Wild capers. So what is here? Come, child, come. They call to the child who had now gone running in wild capers. Wild caper is a type of bush. A type of bush, you can see. Round the banyan tree and gathering him up, they took the narrow. Gathering him up means taking gathering him up means holding his hand, taking him with them, the parents taking him with them because he was running here and there around the bush and banyan tree. So the gathering him means they hold his hand, gathered him with them. They took the narrow winding footpath which led to the fair through the mustard field. So as they neared the village, the child could see many other footpaths full of throngs converging to the whirlpool of the fair, and felt at once repelled and fascinated by the confusion of the world he was entering. Who can say? As they neared the village, the child could see many other footpaths full of throngs. What is the meaning of throngs? Now feelings that you see. Yeah, it is shop-like things, displays, songs, meaning लिखा है. Large crowd songs. You have book, pencil, pencil, underline and write songs. As they neared the village, the child could see many other footpaths full of throngs. What is the meaning of throng? Crowd of people. Converging to the whirlpool of the fair, converging going to the whirlpool of fair. But there are many people and it was like a whirlpool. Whirlpool is a large crowd of people. Whirlpool means जैसे होता है ना? See the meaning. Whirlpool is जो whirlpool washing machine होता है ना? Current of people. Any people, they are just, being here and there, rushing, pushing one another and there, just a cluster of people, too much people of the fair and felt it's a whirlpool because it's very confusing. So many people are there. Fair and felt at once repelled and fascinated by the confusion of the world he was entering. He was repelled and fascinated by the confusion of the world he was entering. Immediately he forgot about all the cultural activities and he started to take interest in the crowd of people. A sweetmeat seller thought. Gulab Jam, sweetmeat is somebody who sells sweets, sweet meat, they are called. Gulab Jamun, Rasgulla, Barfi, Jalebi. Here, Rasgulla is too much Bengal. Gulab Jamun is too much Bengal. Jalebi, Barfi is also Bengal. So you cannot say Barfi is from Jharkhand, Jalebi. Jalebi is from, I think Jalebi is from. Jalebi Gujarat. Then
So where Maharashtra would be?
Maharashtra Jalebi.
No, not Maharashtra, but somewhere in the north.
नॉर्थ ही होगा नॉर्थ में जलेबी और ये खिलाते हैं ना जलेबी एंड राबड़ी नॉर्थ नहीं महाराष्ट्र ये नो इट बिलोंग्स टू द नॉट गुजराती परवास Indian marriage day it's very common for them to serve jalebi and rabdi. I guess so, I'm not sure. That doesn't matter. So sweet meat seller is a person who sells sweet, not meat. Not meat, but sweet. Gulab Jamun, Rasgulla, Barfi, Jalebi. At the corner of the entrance, at a crowd pressed round his counter at the food. At the corner of the entrance, sweet meat seller was located at the corner of the entrance. Entrance of what? The fair. And a crowd pressed round his counter at the foot of an architecture of many colored sweets. Many colored sweets were right there, maybe in a showcase or somewhere, and many people, all people were rushing or crowded the meat shop to buy sweets. Crowd pressed, too much of crowd. Round his corner at the foot of an architecture of many colored, at the foot of an architecture of many colored sweets. In a fair, have you seen they just they keep the sweets in decoration. They make a mountain like shape or something. So it was in the decoration architecture of different type of sweets that were kept in the meat shop and people were crowd pressed. Just everybody wanted to eat sweet. Decorated with leaves of silver and gold. Leaves of silver and gold. Gold color leaf and silver color leaf you could see. Sometimes it's a special kind of sheet that is available to decorate the sweets. That's edible. So that is edible. The child stared upon, now Abhi, the child forgot about toys, nature. Now his next Nishana is the sweets. The child stared open-eyed and his mouth watered for the perfume. That was his favorite. Sweet. I want that perfume. He slowly murmured. Why he slowly murmured?
His parents agreed to let him with.
Because he knew that his parents will say no. Till now, whatever he asked for, his parents said no. And he knew that his parents does not have to money to buy things for him. So very slowly he wanted to eat. So very slowly he said, knowing that the answer will be no. Murmur. Murmur matlab very low voice. But he half knew that he begged, but he half knew as he begged that his plea would not be heeded because his parents would say he was greedy. So without waiting for an answer, he moved on. He half knew, not fully, he knew that they will say that Ari, you are so greedy, whatever it is you are asking for that. So he knew, so he said, and then he moved on. He knows he will not get anything. A flower seller hopped, a girl in a bull moho. A girl in a bull moho hopped is shouting, selling, trying to sell. The child seemed irresistibly drawn. Now the child wants the bull moho garland. Irresistibly drawn. Irresistibly could not resist himself by one. He went towards the basket where the flowers lay heaped and half murmured, again half murmured in whispers. I want that garland. Again, the same reason he knew he would not get it. But he well knew his parents would refuse to buy him those flowers because they would say that they were cheap. So without waiting for an answer, he moved on. Abhi, he knew that for the sweets, they will say, they will give different excuse for not buying. For sweet, they will say you are greedy. For flour, they will say, "Arey, itna sasta flour kyun lena hai? It's cheap." So he knows there will always be an excuse from his parents to say no. So he moved on. A man stood holding a pole with yellow, red, green, and purple balloons flying from it. The child was simply carried away by the rainbow glory of their silken colors, and he was filled with an overwhelming desire to possess them all. He wanted to buy all the colorful balloons. But he well knew his parents would never buy him the balloons because they would say he was too old to play with such toys. For sweets, you are greedy. For more garlic, they are cheap. And for this is what he knows they will say. They are not saying anything because they can't even hear what he's saying. He's murmuring. But at the third, he saw the balloons and he knew that if he asks for balloons, parents will definitely say, you are too old to buy a balloon. They would say he was too old to play with such toys. So he walked on further. A snake charmer, all of you know what is a snake charmer? Pieces of snake निकाल के वो वैसा pan a snake charmer stood playing a flute to a snake which coiled itself in a basket, its head raised in a graceful bend like the neck of a swan. Swan, have you seen? While the music stole into its invisible ears like the gentle rippling of an invisible waterfall. While the music stole into his invisible ears. Why invisible ears? Who can see? No snakes have ears. They do not have ears. They eat the vibration. And so invisible ears because he cannot hear the full sound. He is moving his head because he could eat the vibration. So that's why invisible ears. So these are things coming in extra. Be very careful. Why it's called invisible? It is invisible ears like the gentle rippling of an invisible waterfall. The child went towards the snake charmer, but knowing his parents had forbidden him to hear such coarse music as the snake charmer played, he proceeded further. He went to the snake charmer, but he knew his parents would say that the music was too. This is bad for your mind. Why the child went towards the snake charmer, but knowing his parents had forbidden him to hear such coarse music as the snake charmer played. Why? Why his parents told him that never to listen to the sports music, that snake channel. He said he knew it because whenever a snake channel comes, and if you stand there and if you see the play, what the snake is doing on the play, आपको pay करना है, free में नहीं होता है. If you're standing and you're watching, so the parents who not to pay told the child that it's not good to listen to the music of a snake channel, because they know if the child listens to the snake channel, after they will have to pay to the snake channel. That's why just not to pay money, they are saying on this, because they don't have the. He proceeded further. There was a roundabout in full swing. Men, women, and children. Roundabout, you know, in the Veda. Full swing. Men, women, and children carried away in a whirling motion, shrieked and cried with dizzy laughter. The child watched them intently, and then he made a bold request. I want to go on the roundabout. Please, father, please, mother. Now, his want was so strong, now he did not murmur. Strongly he said, I want to ride that roundabout. There was no reply. He turned to look at his parents. They were not there. Now the U-turn, the twist in the cave. This is the twist in the cave from here. They were nowhere. He was lost in the air. Ahead of him. They were not there ahead of him. He turned to look on either side, they were not there. He looked behind, there were no sign of them. This is the U-turn of the story. A full deep cry rose within his dry throat, and with a sudden jerk, why throat became dry? Because he was scared. When we get scared, our throat becomes dry. A full deep cry rose within his dry throat, and with a sudden jerk of his body, he ran from where he stood, crying in real fear. Father, father, tears rolled down from his eyes, hot and fierce. Hot and fierce means the tears were hot, and fierce means it was coming down very fast. Crying loudly, real cry, crying loudly. His flushed face was convulsed with fear. Flushed face become red and convulsive as if he will fall down with fear. Panic stricken, convulsed means it was as if he was in a rage, he was in a fit. Convulsion होता है ना जब बहुत होता है तो उससे white निकलता है, something like that. Panic stricken, he ran to one side first, then to the other, hither and thither, in all directions, knowing not where to go. Mother, father, he wailed his cries, started crying loudly. His yellow turban came untied and his clothes became muddy. Yellow turban. It shows that there, and the mustard page shows there some from a place that is northern side. Turban Punjabis were there. So some place, because I told you in northern side it would Punjab and now it is mustard page. So this shows that he's wearing a turban. It shows that he's from a place in Punjab or on the north. His yellow turban came untied and his clothes became muddy because he fell down. Convulsion and he fell down. Having run to and fro in a rage of running for a while, he stood defeated. Defeated because he could not find his parents. His cries suppressed into sobs. First cry and then this is a sob. He cannot cry more. At little distances on the green grass, he could see through his filmy eyes. Why eyes are filmy? Because it was filled with water. Filmy eyes means eyes are not see clearly. Like something is in front, it's water. Filmy eyes. Men and women walking. He tried to look intently among the patches of bright yellow clothes, but there was no sign of his father and mother among those people who seemed to laugh and talk just for the sake of laughing and talking. He ran quickly again, and for the sake of laughing and talking. So he could see them, the other people laughing and talking before. He was very much interested to see the people, their laugh, their talking, was enjoying the work of the people, isn't it? When he entered the paper. But now they are laughing and talking, seem to be as if they are doing it for the sake of making. It's a fake laugh at all. Because he was so positive. He ran quickly again, this time to a shrine to which people seemed to be crowding. Shrine is a place where people offer to God. Every little inch of space here was congested with men, but he ran through people's legs, his little sob lingering. Mother, father, he ran through people, even in the shrine to see if he could find his parents. Near the entrance to the temple, however, the crowd became very thick. Men jostled each other. Men were pushing each other. Heavy men with flashing, murderous eyes and hefty shoulders. Heavy men, they were more powerful. They were pushing everybody as if they are going to in a mood to murder people. Why they are pushing each other? So that they would enter the temple. The poor child struggled to thrust away between their feet, but knocked to and fro by their brutal movements, he might have been trampled underfoot had he not shrieked at the high pitch of his voice. He tried to bypass him with their feet, but apparently when he was about to be stampeded by them. If he falls, he will be stampeded and he will die. So the people noticed that there is a small child there because he's crying loud. So they noticed him. Trampled underfoot, they would have crushed him underfoot if he had not cried loudly. Had he not shrieked at the high speech of his voice, Father, Mother, a man in the surging crowd heard his cry and, stooping with great difficulty, lifted him up in his arms. How did you get here, child? Whose baby are you? The man asked as he steered clear of the pass. While holding the child in his arms, he came out of the crowd and asked the child, whose child are you? What's your father's name? The child wept bitterly than ever now and only cried, I want my mother, I want my mother. The man tried to soothe him. Soothe him means give comfort to him by taking him to the roundabout, the same thing that he wanted when he was in status. He wanted to ride in the roundabout, isn't it? The child was crying. The man wanted to take him to the roundabout. So he should be happy that he wanted to ride the roundabout, but now let's see his reaction. The man tried to soothe him to give him comfort by taking him to the roundabout. Will you have a ride on the horse, which he eagerly wanted to? When he was with his parents, he gently asked as he approached the ring. The child's throat tore into 1,000 shrill sobs, and he only shouted, I want my father, I want my mother. Roundabout में उसने मना कर दिया. Only thing he wanted is his father and his mother. Though they seem to be so torturous, not biting to him, but still he wanted his parents. The man headed towards the place where the snake charm was still played on the flute to the swaying cobra. It was a cobra. Listen to that nice music, child, he pleaded. But the child shut his ears with his fingers and shouted, his double-pitched strain, I want my mother, I want my mother, this way. The man took him near the balloons, all these things he wanted before. Balloons, thinking the bright colors of the balloons would distract the child's attention and quieten him. Would you like a rainbow-colored balloon? He persuasively asked. Persuasively, he wanted to know. The child turned his eyes from the flying balloons and just sobbed, I want my mother, I want my father. Since he lost his favors, was separated from his parents, the only thing he said was, I want my father, I want my father. The man, still trying to make the child happy, poured into the gate where the flower seller sat. Look, can you smell those nice clothes, child? Would you like a girl to put around your waist? The child turned his nose away from the basket and reiterated. Said no, reiterated is very saying no. He sobbed, repeated his sob, I want my mother, I want my father. Thinking
thinking to humor his disconsolate charge by a gift of sweets, the man took him to the counter of the sweet shop. What sweets would you like, child? He asked. The child turned his face from the sweet shop and only sobbed. I want my mother to run. What do you learn from this chapter? Learn from this. For a child, as her parents, it's the last. Don't learn from here. This is because there are many mistakes over here. I can hold grudge Anand. So we can talk, we can see the profound emotional bond between parents and children. Emotional bond that you have, even I have with my parents. We all have with our parents. Solution will be we have to learn the I want to give you the keywords. I will make a PPT and give it to you. Let's see what we see. This is a PPT problem. Your book now. This is what is there in a book. Okay, we can read from here. What are the things the child sees on his way to the fair? Why does he lag behind? What are the things that the child sees on his way to the fair? Many things. Start from the beginning. First, what he saw. First, the toy shops that he wanted to buy, and then he saw. If the child is on his way to the fair, why does he lag behind? He lag behind because maybe he was a major learner. He was a child who was skills. These are the words that he can use. And then what did he see? You can write about the whatever he saw. You can write. Underline karo. Dragon पे underline now. He saw the toy shop. Toys. Fascinated by the toys in the shops, and then what we saw flowering mustard cane, and then dragonflies, a black bee, or butterfly. And saw raining petals that he started gathering. Sweet shop seller. उसके पहले वो भी है ना the worms and the insects. Toilet of many things. Balloons, snake charmer. What other things you saw? No? Things which I saw. Snake charmer. Movie है ना? The worms and the insects. Have you got it? The doves. He did not see the dove. He heard the clicking of the dove. He did not see the dove. Attracted by the little insects and worms along the footpath. So many things he saw. Why does he lag behind? He lagged behind because he was curious to see them. Because he wanted to buy a few things. And then he was a nature lover. He loved to see natural things. And it was a fair, so he was curious to why does he lag behind? Give me some answer. Easily got distracted. The child was enjoying the beauty of nature. He was enjoying the sights of the dragonfly and everything. So he was enjoying nature. That is everything. And he was curious to learn about them. In the fair, he wants many things. What are they? That you can write. Why does he move on without waiting for an answer? Because probably he thinks that his parents will not buy anything for him. And being an obedient child, he understood. He always listened to his parents, whether even if they say no, he never urged them to buy things to him. What are they, you know? You have to write this, won't be buying anything for him and would give some excuse for not doing so. Excuse the guy. So this shows that the child is matured very well. He knows how to control his urges. He also understands that because of some reason he won't be able to have each and everything from the parent. What reason he doesn't know, but some reason he knows. It's from the body matter. You can read the body. You have got your bodies? Why? It's a book. So you can read all the questions are in the book. You can read from there. Why does the lost child lost interest in the things that he had wanted earlier? Because he was panicked. He was separated from his parents. He was all the things that attracted him no longer seemed useful to him because he separated from his parents. And only thing that attracted him now was meeting his parents or being united with his parents, finding his parents. I asked you about this, at least your understanding of the chapter. A full deep cry rose within his dry throat, and with a sudden jerk of his body, he ran from where he stood, crying in real fear, "Father, Father." Please read this. Are you feeling it was the second minutes? From the volume page number 71. 71. Exactly. Answer is not given. So who is he in the above extract? The little boy. Only the little boy will not do. The little boy was lost in the fair and separated from his parents, father and mother. This is what you have to do. The little boy who was separated from his parents in the fair is also little. Why did he start crying?
Because he got separated from his parents and he was looking for them. Since he was not able to find them,
He was scared. He was in fear. He was scared. He was all alone and he could not find them. That's it.
Find a word from the extract which is a symptom of abrupt. A full deep cry rose within his dry throat, and with a sudden jerk of his body, he ran from where he stood, crying real fear, father. So abrupt.
It started right. Synonym of
You said so. Except is given over there. Except
certain, a
Yes.
certain.
Short answer questions. What was the usual reaction of the father to the child's demands?
Father gave the child the code that made that he was exist.
With red eyes. With red eyes and a cold look. That showed that the father did not give it with fire. Why was the child forbidden to hear the music played by the snake child?
Process parents believe that it was overseers and we should not listen to it. And they gave him such a reason because if he starts listening music, he will start getting it.
Maybe they did not want to spend money on the snake child, to be very big of the snake child. That's why they told this to him. Why did the child do in the group? What did the child do in the group?
Because it's the place where the petals and birds.
flower patients. Young flower. The body was visible. And collected in response.
Why would the parents have refused to buy a good girl?
The process parents said that it they will cheap flowers and they're just finding reasons.
They are finding, but this you have to mention.
But his parents never used to.
Parents refused to buy one for him. Parents will refuse, he knew that these are the things that they would say. So you can mention that. So the boy feels that the parents would refuse. You can write like this. The boy feels that the parents would refuse to buy because they will say that they are cheap garments and not what not. What did you say? They are cheap garments. The reason not to buy them for him. How can you say that the child was obedient?
He did not. When his father gave him a gold star, he did not argue by
He did not argue with his father. He listened to his father whenever they say follow them. He followed them, and he never. सिर्फ को क्या कहते हैं? सिर्फ सिर्फ पकड़ के बैठा था. He never. He was where he said. Persistent enough.
Headstrong, stubborn,
Stubbornly persistent.
obedient, adamant.
Adamant is the word. He was not adamant, and he listened to his parents and he followed them silently. He was not adamant.
about the things that you want to buy from the fair. Yes, Adam. Where and how did the child meet the kind of person that you all know near the roundabout? Or shine.
The temple.
Yeah.
So it was running to find his parents.
Why did the child run towards the shrine beyond the book? Because there were many questions there. Find his parents. So he was desperate to find his parents. Had you been in place of the lost child, what would you have done to find your parents in the fair? Think about a fair that did not have those mic at all, were lost. What do you do? As a
So
child?
there are no phones with that.
Nothing.
So we are at the place where you lost them, but they will come back to find the course. To go somewhere else, they will come to
Not fighting.
Yes. So you have to just stay in a place where you're not lost.
And keep your calm.
Yes.
Other places.
No, if you consider exam, you can say the same thing that happened to the body. You will be practically looking for them. You will be anxious because you are alone. You will be scared. So you will the same reaction that the boy. If this question comes in your exam, don't write. I don't know. I have never been in this situation. Oh, so it's not. You have to think immediately.
Experience.
No, that is what you have to write about it. You can write a boy's experience or your own experience. आपको सोच लेना है कि what if situation comes, what do we do? And a period when there was no phone or there was no mic or anything. Nonsense. So you can't do nonsense. One question if I asked, the reaction of the child at the shop of the sweetmeat seller, the flower seller, and the balloon seller, were the natural reactions? The child. From his reactions, can we conclude that he was a realistic?
Yes.
You can see the question. C. Long answer C. So it will be a 6 marks question.
So what is realistic child?
Realistic child, the reactions of the child at the shop of the sweetmeat seller, he asked for, he did not answer the question.
Children tend to find those things interesting that do or
No, that is okay. But the reactions of the child at the shop of the sweetmeat seller, the flower seller, and the balloon seller were the natural reactions. Because he murmured, he did not tell his parents, he murmured, and he walked past them because he knew that they did not buy. He did not say it to his parents because he already knew the reaction. Why he already knew the reaction? Because he had already been to some other fair before. So the experience is known to him. So his reaction was very normal. He was not adamant. He was not persistent. It was just normal. He did not tell his parents also. So do you think it's realistic?
I think the reason he said it, like he murdered because I think he half hoped that his parents would listen and recognize that he does not have that it that he could have asked him.
Yes, half hope. It's a very good answer. So half hope, गलती से सुन लिया तो maybe they can buy. So he murmured and he, but then he's passing away from without buying any street or anything, passing away from the shops. Is it realistic for a small child? This is the real answer.
he's
It is not realistic.
he's very mature.
Mature for his age. Because mature for his age, maybe constant denial, maybe mature enough to understand that he will never get those things from the fair. He wanted for the fair. maybe parents did not have that much money also to buy things today. But towards the end, when parents are lost, in spite of all this, towards the end, when all the things were offered to him by the stranger, the only thing that he wanted, the things that he desired were not so important for him. The only thing that he desired were his parents, united with his parents. This year, Sweden. Because these days in CBSE, value based or your based on your understanding question comes. So our question, if it comes like that, is you are taken to a fair by your parents. Okay. How will you behave with your parents? ये आज का fair भी हो सकता है. Explain with reference to the lesson, the lost. So today, if you are taken to a fair, how do you behave? How your parents might behave and what? How the lost child behave? How his parents behave? It's that you can see my parents will not see everything because they know that I am a curious child. I want to go. They might buy a few, not everything, but a few toys to me. They will buy. But the last time, what happened to the last time? So
we have to write. So we have to write this.
How will you behave with your parents? If you say, I will be adopted and I will insist them to buy something for me. I see a book, something. And I think eventually they will not say no, they will buy it. If it is worth buying, this is the life, it's worth buying. They buy it to me. Extremely different to the lesson the lost child. So what happened to the lost child? That you have tried that. What you feel your parents will do to you in a fair. And you can even there asking for things. You will say everything they will not know. Of course, my parents say everything they will not know. They will buy the things that they feel are sensitive. That you can use it in the future. Useful to you. So it's a short thing like
So if you want, you can go through. Nothing else to teach from the lost child. What is the question answers? I will tell you to read the
volume. I will ask for the volume.
and
You have dictionary and book. You will say dictionary.
Yes. Yes.
Every Bengalis have Oxford dictionary.
Yes, I have a small group.
Small ही चाहिए. ठीक है.
so we hope find the words for the dictionary and write the meaning. Last year it was all done, but this year I have not written anything. You have to write it. You have to write. So whenever you take time, that means okay, first day you do this, next week you do this, third week you do this, one day you don't have to do all, but you take time out from your schedule and try to write the answer, write the meanings of the words.
But we do ask the next session, right? After this, so what we do is.
You tell, both of you tell. But you have to thank you. But you have to think about what will be in your school syllabus when you are in school. Your friends, you can't examine.
No, students, not this, my students not me. Adventures of
So just recently finished the last.
Last chapter.
reflect the adventures of the school.
You have done?
But
Only one chapter there.
Is there in our school?
no, no, yeah, completed that. We had. Or not taken.
So that we have completed here. So
It's
you
a
know,
number again.
and in between थोड़ा time मिलेगा तो फिर finish थोड़ा take a short break 15 minutes time. Which is totally is behind your moments. You have to read a book. ये book भी नहीं है ना?
Yes, it's in that book.
Moments नहीं है.
Second chapter.
Which be very, very. Buses. Yeah. And Aditya or whatever I got, even though it was not taken, I shared it with you. Saying any short snacks or something.
बंद करेंगे फिर लगेगा तो चालू नहीं तो फिर एक ही ये बंद कर दो फिर चलना नहीं देता
ठीक है अभी तो मॉडल इधर का है